All right, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thursday Night Lights, Week 7, presented by Sunny Days Media. How we feeling, boys? How we feeling? Let me know. Jerry, you look
Feeling
you look very
ready.
you look like you're ready for a little rags action, but
I mean, listen, yes, I am. We're playing tonight. We're playing the Predators. Laviolette's going home, or they're coming. I don't know. Laviolette's playing his own team, but we're not here to talk about puck. We're here to talk about pigskin, and we're ready to go. And I think, honestly, tonight's probably the first Thursday night game I am excited to watch in a little while. I think on paper it doesn't look as good as it does in to I guess the outside world, but this game is sneakily, I think, going to be a good one. I think both teams are kind of underwritten, so to speak.
well, Jags are fucking hot.
Yeah,
Jags are a hot team. I wish we had Facino on tonight representing his
yeah.
uh, his boys. Um, all right, so before we get into Jag Saints, very quick, do we want to touch anything on Week 6? I mean,
Five
I know
hundred going into the bye. Five
what
hundred going into the bye. We're
the Jets
five
have their
hundred
bye
going
this
into the
week.
bye. Yeah, we're on a bye this week, but
Nice,
we're 500 going into the bye. And if you would
nice.
have thought for a second after fourth down, week one, Monday Night Football, that we would be here, you'd be lying to yourself. You know, we were talking about going into the bye at 500 with Rodgers under center. And the fact that we got there with Zach Wilson fucking calling the shots here is outstanding. And it goes to show you how different this team is. We did lose a brother, and they shipped off Mecole Hartman back to Kansas City. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. That
Yeah,
happened
that's right.
yesterday. Kind of shitty. Wasted potential, in my opinion. I was really excited to have him. I think he's dynamic. He was just underutilized, and he really wasn't doing us any good. So at that point, oh yeah, I forgot my dad's. I'm saving the jersey for a Sunday show when it gets going. I got a Chinese special. I'll show you on Sunday. Um, but yeah. So with Mecole Hartman gone now, I mean, it's not really gonna. There's not gonna be a hole to fill because we still have so many wide receivers that are dynamic, good, especially with those two undrafted rookies that we saw in Hard Knocks. Now it might be the time for them to really start working their way into the actual receiving core and getting actual reps, not just on special teams. So that would be cool to see. But the boys are buzzing. We're ready to go, and this is very important, like rest week. And there's even talks for Rodgers to make a comeback on Thanksgiving or Black Friday for that game by Thanksgiving. I think it's a little ambitious, but who knows? Who knows? We might be singing their praises come playoff time. And a lot of people, myself included, wrote the season off the minute we saw what happened on Monday Night Football.
Well, so we kind of touched on it Sunday, and I'm interested to hear from both of you guys about this. Like, trade deadline is looming, right? It's 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
We'll start with the Jets, and then Chris, I'm going to ask you about the Giants because I think there's going to be action regardless. There's going to be action
yeah.
regardless, right? Because you have pieces, right? So from a Jet standpoint, you traded away Mecole Hardman. Do you think? I don't think that's the only thing they're going to do, but do you think they're going to look for reinforce? Like, you think that they're rolling with what they have at receiver, or do you think that was an initial move, ship him out of town, and you think they're going to make another move at receiver, or?
This might be a pipe dream, and you can laugh at me, but you want to know what I think is going to happen? Is I think they're going to make a move in Devontae Adams.
My counter is that I think so. If you look at the Raiders' next like 3 games, they're very winnable. Like they have the Bears this week. Because trust me,
Yeah,
I've
but
been
do you see what he's saying though? Like he just doesn't want to be there, and no better place to play than with your boy
right.
once he gets back.
They have the Bears, they have us, they have the Giants, and then they play you guys. Like they could potentially, they could come out of that stretch still 500. They're 3-3 right now. Like I don't know. I don't know. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if they
So would
traded
I.
him. You know.
So would I.
What about Jerry Judy
I
though?
think
He's on the market.
huh, I didn't know he was on the market. That'd be an interesting
Yeah.
pickup too. I
Yeah.
think it'd be great to see him finally, you know, play to his potential, so to speak. Because year after year, I pick him in fantasy. He's never anything that you expect him to be. But we all know that he's this pretty solid receiver that just hasn't really, I guess, found his stride. Pun intended. Not yet.
Mr. Unlimited's throwing at him.
Yeah.
That's
Unlimited.
what a fucking jerk off.
Yeah, but I don't really know where we go from the deadline perspective. I'm surprised this move came as early as it did. You would think it would have came closer to the deadline. I mean, we're what? Look at the calendar right now. We're 2 weeks away from the deadline, week and a half, give or take. So,
Halloween.
like, yeah,
I think
yeah, we're about
Halloween
a
like
week
4 o'clock.
about a week and a half away. Halloween's on a Tuesday. Um,
Okay.
but interesting move coming at an interesting time. I think we got a third round pick for him. It was nothing nuts. But I'm happy. Honestly, I'm happy for both Miko Hartman and the Chiefs here. No one wants to say that out loud, but the Chiefs don't have any like star-studded receivers. And not that Miko Hartman's fucking, Terrell Owens, but he's a very good receiver. And when he's helped make the Chiefs make some very solid deep playoff runs and win Super Bowls. So I think now Pat Mahomes is going to have a solid, steady receiving target that's not named Travis Kelsey.
Okay. Chris, what about you here with the Giants, man? I mean,
Well, I
yeah,
just want to touch on the Jets real quick, actually, just a little proposal here, because I don't see Zach Wilson taking the Jets to their highest potential with him under center. I mean, they've been squeaking out these games. Their defense obviously came up clutch against the Eagles. They need to move on. As a Giants fan, we will give you Tyrod Taylor if you give us Sauce Gardner.
No.
I mean, at this point, I'm freaking. I'm holding out for anything, honestly. But no. In all seriousness, no. The Giants are gonna be active in trade talks. I mean, right by default. I don't expect us to win this week against the Commanders, so we have pieces to move.
You'd be surprised.
Talked about. I'm not hopeful. Let's just say that I'll be at the game, but I'm not hopeful. I know we historically play the Commanders well, but just with everything that I've seen in terms of the mental lapses and just honestly the lack of talent up front and the offensive line right now, it's not looking pretty. So we could be staring at 1-7 come trade deadline, I believe, if we lose the Commanders and then the Jets, which I presumably think we will lose both. Um, so that begs the question. We got guys on big contracts that are not going to be brought back. I believe Adoree Jackson, Leonard Williams fall into that category. And then we got guys on 1-year deals on the offensive side of the ball. You talk about like a Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard, veteran wide receivers that could be of service to somebody that needs a wide receiver. Definitely not Jerry Jeudy potential for the Jets, but definitely something to explore. I think they have at least something to offer. But and then you get the biggest elephant in the room in Saquon Barkley.
I
We
saw
don't
that today.
know.
He doesn't want to get traded.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to get
he
traded.
does not.
I
He
don't
says
blame him.
that, and
But
we talked about that. I don't see why he wouldn't want to get traded, and other than the fact that he has to say that to the media. But I'm just like right now, I was saying it on Aaron and I's show today, Feeling Blue, our Giants podcast. There is a lot of when you have a season like this in the New York market, you have conflicting reports and you just don't know what's true versus what's not in terms of these reports. Obviously, we know directly quoted from Saquon Barkley, he would like to not get moved per his words. But I don't really buy that the Saquon Barkley and Giants relationship is at its fullest strength. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Also, this front office, I mean, by default, they had to negotiate to the fullest extent in terms of getting out of a long-term deal and not giving him that money long-term for a reason. So who knows how they're viewing Saquon Barkley in terms of their long-term plans too? Like we just don't know. So Saquon Barkley can say X Y Z. Of course, I'd love to have Saquon Barkley here long-term, but the front office can ship him out in a matter of seconds, and that's just the bottom
yeah,
line. So we'll see how it plays out.
Chris, I have a couple names written down here on the Giants roster that I want to ask you about.
Sure.
Three guys: Adoree Jackson, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams. And selfishly, I'm thinking about that because those are Lions' needs.
Sure.
Um, what's your take on all three? And I think I have something to add on with what you said about Saquon. But in terms of those three guys, any value? What's Adoree Jackson been like? And it's hard to tell because when the guys around you are playing like shit, it's
Yep.
it's hard to look good at corner.
Yep.
But like
I mean, he put together a phenomenal season last season. And then he unfortunately boneheaded another boneheaded Dable decision to put him back at punt returner when the job wasn't getting done by the guy before him and went down with that knee injury. His knee is a concern too moving forward, but he's a veteran quarterback. He's established. I mean, he can get the job done if that's something the Lions need, and I'm sure that it is, right? I think your secondary is a little banged up right now.
Yeah.
Definitely a guy that would probably get the job done and get it done in an efficient manner. Obviously, the Giants secondary is really young right now, from the safeties to the cornerbacks. Deontay Banks, Trey Hawkins, McKinney's even still young, Pinnock's young. Like, they're all sub 25 years old, and Adoree Jackson really is the veteran of that unit. And like you said, it's hard to perform at your highest caliber when you have to take into account all these young guys surrounding you. And because it is a liability at the end of the day. But Adoree Jackson is definitely someone that I would be willing to part ways with, not because I don't think he's a good player, but because the Giants aren't going to need him moving forward. They're young already at the secondary position, in the quarterback position, the cornerback room, and they're only going to get younger. So there really isn't any long-term need for Adoree. Would be a great pickup for the Detroit Lions, in my opinion. Dexter Lawrence is off limits. I'm sorry. He's not getting moved. He just signed a new deal. He's top 3 defensive tackle in the league, not getting moved. He's the only guy that can really get pressure. I mean, Kayvon's coming into his own now over the last couple games, but he's really the only guy that can create pressure for our defensive line. Leonard
long is his
Williams,
new deal?
I think it's a 4-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
It's a 4-year.
Right.
It's a long-term deal.
Okay.
And
How
Leonard
long
Williams
is
Leonard Williams, I'll ship him off for a sack of potatoes. That guy really doesn't do much for us. He's getting paid $32 million a year, one of the highest paid defensive ends, if I'm not mistaken. Showed out when it mattered for his contract when Gettleman traded him from the New York Jets, and really hasn't done much. I mean, he had a decent season last season, if I had to objectively state that, but not a guy that should be deserving $32 million a year. Certainly not. So I don't think the Lions, if they do go after him in hopes that he can provide some sort of pressure, because he's another guy like Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, you talk about guys taking plays off, maybe not giving their all. I lump Leonard Williams into that category because it just seems like some plays, right? We know he can get to the quarterback anytime he wants to, but does he want to? Because it don't seem like it half the time. So I would stay away from Leonard Williams objectively as a Giants fan, but.
I didn't know he was making money like that. I thought that
$32 million a year, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So this is why when I evaluate Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, more so Joe Schoen in the front office and what they've done since coming over, right? I don't put too much stock into blaming Joe Schoen because he inherited cap hell, and Leonard Williams was one of the was only the tip of the iceberg in terms of the cap space that Dave Gettleman left Joe Schoen. So, you know what I mean? And $32 million a year for that type of production that we've been seeing not only this year, but obviously last year as well. I would say he had a good year, but he's not $32 million worthy. So if the Lions do reach out to the Giants, I'm like, pay half his salary, maybe even more. I don't know. Maybe the Giants would listen to that just to get him off the books. But I got to look at the cap hits on all those guys, I think. Before I'd understand how feasible it actually is to get rid of them. So I don't know, man. Like I said, Adoree is probably your best bet. Dexter Williams is off limits out of the 3 guys that you mentioned. And Leonard Williams, have fun, to be honest with you. That's how I look at it.
Gettleman was such a schmuck.
Yeah. He loved his hog maulies. You need the hog maulies up front to push him. That guy's press conference.
He did draft Andrew Thomas. I'll give him that. I mean,
yeah.
Made the right decision there, but other than that, he's a failure of a GM.
Yeah, that's essentially where I'm looking at with the Lions. We're banged up in the secondary. The anticipations that we might see C.J. Gardner-Johnson, like potentially. First, I thought December. Now it's kind of looking more like playoffs. Which, whatever. Like, we've gone this far without him. It is what it is. But it was a serious blow to the defense. Brian Branch.
He's been active off the field, huh?
Oh, yeah. Coming at Debo. And, the confidence of him.
I didn't even see it.
Debo, I don't know. I don't know if Debo posted, I think CJ posted a video or a picture of, him above Debo Samuel or something, after a tackle. He just called him out. I guess he thought he was being a bitch or something. and I'm kind of butchering this, but essentially they're calling each other bitches, and CJ is like, "Wait till I see you on the field, boy." And oh no, this is what it was. This is what it was. Debo, there was a video of Debo like getting into a fight at their last game, and then like he basically like pushed around a guy until Trent Williams came in, and CJ was like, "Yeah, being a bitch ass, just like all them wide receivers, something like that." Like basically calling him a bitch, and then Debo fought. So they've been going back and forth, and basically CJ's like, "When I'm healthy, I will see you in the playoffs." He's like,
Well, the feud goes back to that Eagles-Niners playoff game
"Yeah,
last year where they were talking with the Niners were just talking reckless. Even after the game, it's like we would have handily beat you guys if we had our QB. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. That whole situation in Philly for CJ Gardner-Johnson actually
yeah,
surprised me too. Ended up saying that he actually didn't like those fans or whatever. I mean, who does like those fans minus, the Eagles fans themselves. But I think it's a perfect situation for him in Detroit. It's unfortunate that he's not out there for you all because,
yeah,
just of his talent alone. But you guys are getting the job done though. That's what matters.
yeah."
Yeah, the fact that you can even say like, "Oh, he'll be back come playoff times in mid-October" is it
Yeah.
has to be refreshing for you. That's awesome.
It's so weird. Like
Yeah,
just
I can imagine.
being at the game last Sunday was like that was the craziest live event. No, I shouldn't say craziest. Like it wasn't a crazy atmosphere. It was just like it was surreal. Like as a Lions fan, and this like I guess this is just how like Patriots fans have felt like forever and shit. But like as a Lions fan, like it was, and I was with my buddy Paul, and like Paul goes to every road game. He has season Lions tickets, so he's at every home game more or less. And like he said it himself, Paul's been doing this for years, and he's like, I've never felt this before. Like 2-3 minutes left in the fourth, the Bucks fans are gone, and the whole like first ring of seats is just blue. I mean, to start the game, 50% of the stadium was blue. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. 50% of this stadium was blue, and like when the game ended, and like after every touchdown, like the Lions players were like coming up, like pumping us up, and like they were feeling our energy. Like, yo, put it this way. I went to take a piss, right? Lions are playing defense, and I go to the bathroom, and there's no like, it's not like MetLife where you have the radio broadcast like in the bathroom so you could hear what's going on, right? So I go to the bathroom and I hear the crowd go nuts, and like I said, Lions are playing defense, so I was like, oh fuck, like I guess we gave a big first down or something. I mean, I knew it wasn't a touchdown because they have the cannons that go off, but I thought it was a big first down or like something, whatever. They got to scoring position. I come out of the bathroom and they're punting. And I was like, yo, the stadium just shook for the other team. And it was amazing, man. Like after the game, all the players were coming out to us, like high five, like Panay Sewell, like was just literally just running up and down the sidelines of
He's
the
a
field.
dog.
Yeah, dude, he grabbed my hand. It was nuts. I was like freaking out in the stands, and it was great. It was a great, great, great experience, and um, I'll never forget it, man. It was
That's
unbelievable.
wild, given how like I don't want to say good, but the Buccaneers are not a slouch this year. They're
No,
3-2. They're playing well, and they
yeah.
ran into a hot Lions team.
Baker,
Like
Baker,
that's very surprising.
Baker didn't play. Baker didn't play his best. I mean, Baker overthrew like he had two big like overthrows in that game that probably would have resulted in a touchdown. So, it's not like I don't look at it as like we beat him. We beat him well. We covered the spread and all, and yeah, but like it we were two miscues away from that game being very close in the fourth, and I'm aware of that. So, and it just brings me right back to the trade deadline. Like, Lions definitely need help in the secondary. At this point, I'm not sure how long David Montgomery's gone. They may need help at running back. I don't know how long that injury is going to be. That rib cartilage shit is like that's a little like very up and down. You don't really know. So, well, I guess we'll get more into that Sunday. I don't want to harp on the Lions all night. Jags, Saints. They're playing this game in the Superdome. The Saints are what, 3-3? Are they 500 right now? They lost on Sunday. But
3-3. Yep, Saints are 3-3. Jags are 4-2.
Jags are 4-2. Like on paper, you could say like looking at their record, you would say, oh, they're pretty evenly matched. One game off from each other. But like I don't know. Like I guess you used to hear about the Superdome effect, 4, 5, 6, like 10 years ago, right? How like it was a different game there, and I'm sure they still do have a loud atmosphere and have that big home field advantage, and I get it, but like Jags are a fucking wagon. Like I can't understand how they're underdogs here. Like at least a pick 'em. I mean, I don't know. Am I crazy here? Like,
No, I got no idea. That's shocking.
I
Me.
I think so. I think the Jags are getting points here because allegedly, I don't know if it's been announced here or not, but allegedly Trevor Lawrence is not playing tonight.
No way.
I saw it today. Allegedly,
He's
Trevor
hurt, right?
Lawrence is not playing tonight. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
He's listed as questionable.
Yeah, I think that's why the Jags are currently getting points because I think Vegas is kind of aware at this point.
It's a leg
what's
injury,
gonna
right?
happen. I have no idea.
I see
leg
knee.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He
who
left the game last week, I'm pretty sure.
Coach Larry is
In the
not a real
fourth.
account. Is Trevor Lawrence playing? I don't see anything. Wow. That's
Oh,
nuts.
we got Stevie in the chat. He says, I just got a fantasy update that he's playing like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Oh,
Just got
really?
that.
Well, I wonder if that line's going to change then.
Maybe the line
I
changes.
doubt it.
Let's monitor that while we're on here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just
I doubt
changed.
it.
Just
I
went
doubt
down
it.
2.
Did
Fuck. All right, we got to throw our bets in now.
If it's at 2, dude, hammer the fucking Jags.
At that point, I think you just take a money line. What am I going to do with 2 points?
Exactly. That's what I was going to get
Shove it up
to.
my ass. They're plus 110 money line. Hammer that.
FanDuel has them plus 1.5, which means they're going to win this game. Ooh, I might fuck around and throw in a nice little same gamer here.
Jags are playing probably their best football right now. The Saints, like I don't know what to make of the Saints. They're like this up and down. Like it is a stingy defense, right? They've played very good defense this year under Dennis Allen, but like it's just looking very similar to this like Derek Carr offense. Like, and obviously, yeah, he's there, but like. You guys feel me on this? Like it's the right now the Saints offense just looks very similar to those Raiders offenses of of whatever the past 4 years, like lethargic, mistake ridden.
Snoozed when I watch them.
Yeah,
I
like it's
snoozed.
so boring.
I don't like watching Derek Carr. I don't like anything of what they got going on. I guess Kamara brings a little bit more excitement now that they have him, but that was a funny little exchange that Jameis Winston and Kamara had
Oh, that was
last
hysterical.
week on the sideline. It's boring, man. That's why I don't like. That's why when Jerry was saying he's excited for this game, I'm the complete opposite. Like I would be fine not watching this game because I don't like to watch the Saints play. Like they're not the same Saints, the Drew Brees era Saints anymore. Like they don't excite me at all. So I don't know. That's my take on it, at least.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong. They're far from the Drew Brees Saints. They're no longer the who dat, but also at the same time, I think they're a big time dark horse-esque team in that division. Like don't be surprised if the Saints walk out of their NFC South champions, right? Yeah.
I still have the Buccaneers penciled in to win that division. I think they're much more talented. But like honestly, I guess that's another thing, man. Todd Bowles, like he's an awful head coach.
I could have told you that.
Awful fucking head coach. From an offensive standpoint, Chris, in terms of the Saints, yes, I do agree with you. It could be a bit of a snooze fest, but I think if you're looking for anything here, you're looking for the Jags to kind of be tested a little, right? The Jags are a young team. I mean, Doug Peterson's an experienced guy, obviously, tremendous head coach. But they're a young team. There's a lot of young players there. You're walking into a loud environment, and you're playing up against in prime time on short rest against a stingy Saints defense. So like, if there's anything to look at, like, hey, how does Trevor Lawrence look tonight? How does he react with that knee injury, getting hit around a little bit, right? Like, let's see what the Saints do there, right? Do they try and blitz him a lot tonight? I don't have PFF pulled up in front of me here, so I don't know their blitz rate and their hurries and all that stuff. But how do you slow down this dynamic Jaguars offense? You know, I mean, you have an over under here of 40 and a half points, which doesn't. It surprises me that it's that low. Like Thursday Night Football, which fucking speaking of unders, like last week, what like one over hit, one or two overs hit.
Dude, it hasn't been the same. I don't want to say the same NFL, but like last couple of years, these games have just been fucking air raid. And like we all remember that Monday Night Football Chiefs Rams and shit like that. Like these games have been high scoring. This year, I feel like it's the exact opposite. I feel like games this year are a lot more being finished like 17-10, 23-17, 23-15, shit like that.
I feel like you could attribute that to like, and I think we spoke about it a couple Thursdays ago. There's a genuine like deficiency of like great quarterbacks in the league right now, right? Like, who can you genuinely name that's a great quarterback in the NFL, right? You could probably name like maybe 6 guys. When we were all in high school, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, like there was easily 10, 11, like there was like 5 like bona fide Hall of Famers, right? Then there was like, you could name 5 more that were fucking great. And then you could literally up into the middle of the league, like you were still getting good, solid quarterback play. Nowadays, like, I don't know, like and I don't think defenses have necessarily gotten better. And I was listening to, it was either Joel Klatt or the Cover 3 podcast. I don't remember what it was, so I don't want to steal anyone's like thoughts here, but I agreed with it. You may see a little more of that as these guys come up from college, right? Given the transfer portal, given like the NIL impacting where guys go, but definitely the transfer portal, right? Because some of these guys, like there used to be a progression, right? There used to be, you got a guy and you had 3 years to kind of see it through, develop him, make, you know what I mean? And listen, so much of the developmental shit has really gone to the wayside when colleges kind of switched to this air raid and spread offense that we see now today. But like now with the transfer portal, it's kind of like, what can you do for me right now? Right? Like you have a good quarterback at, for example, the kid at Notre Dame, what's his name? Hartman?
Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman. He was at Wake Forest for how many years? 3-4 years. Was it? No, maybe it was less. Maybe it was like 2 years. But regardless, just up and, Notre Dame comes around with a check and they're like, hey, we could pay you more than these guys. And that's it. So there's no developing in a system. There's no like years of play. And it's the same with offensive linemen, right? Like you're Ohio State and you need a left guard next year. Like you can go wherever you want to find it. You're not going to go to an 18-year-old coming out of high school, 17-year-old.
Yeah.
You're going to look at Michigan State. You're going to look at Kent State. You're going to look at all these other schools because you could offer a bag, right? So like, and listen, I'm not complaining. Like these kids should get paid. I have no problem with that. But I do think that that's definitely going to impact the development of some of these quarterbacks coming out of college.
Well, you look at Caleb Williams right now, it's kind of just like, in my opinion, no, I won't say that, but I was going to say it almost like inflates their ego and head and all this stuff. Like I saw a report the other day, Caleb, I don't know if it was true or not, but Caleb Williams is asking for an ownership stake in his fucking team that he gets drafted to. Take a hike, kid. Go play in the fucking CFL. Like, get the fuck out of here. Doesn't happen. Sorry. Like, these kids, like, college, And honestly, like I know it's shitty and they're off the radar, and I've talked my fair amount of shit about it. But hats off to Dabo Sweeney for not buying into this and just kind of like, I'm running my game, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. But I'm doing what I'm going to do. And I understand you need to adapt to the times, but this is
Yeah.
him saying like, you know what, dude, like fuck that. Like this isn't right. I could see where he's coming from. I support the NIL. If you can get your bag, get your bag. I don't think college athletes should be paid by the university, but if you could profit on your likeness alone, you should have that ability.
Yeah.
But it's turning into the fucking it's free agency. It's straight up free agency year after year. You're not going to see like, I don't know if you graduate or not, but you're not going to see like long term players like fucking Marcus Mariota to Oregon or like I don't know college names, but like shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Where I feel bad, where I think like why I think the transfer portal is a good thing. Like I think the transfer portal, I think the good outweighs the bad. There's a lot of bad, but like think about it like this: you're a stud. You're a stud. Let's say middle linebacker, right? Like you worked your ass off to get somewhere, and you get somewhere, and the coach that recruited you leaves a year later for an SEC job. Like, okay. And now the new guy that comes in is like, yeah, I don't really like you. You don't really fit into this. Like, and now what? Now what? I'm never gonna get my chance to play in the NFL. Like I'm because like we could talk about working hard and like, yes, you do have to work your ass off. You do have to make yourself stand out. No doubt about it. But like there are other people that could really impact the rest of your career. Like truly, truly both positive and negative, right? Like you have a guy that's just like, yeah, I'm not playing you. Like you don't fit. And like if you're just a freshman and no one's really seen you play yet, then like now you're just there. And how's anyone going to see how good you are from the bench? You know what I mean? So like that's where I feel for them, and like I do kind of understand the transfer portal. Like I said, there's definitely some negative. But Chris, did you have anything on that? I thought I may have cut you off.
No, I don't really have anything on that. Honestly, as a guy who doesn't watch a ton of college football, I didn't go to a school that had college football, so I just naturally didn't watch it. Um, it makes me want to watch college football more, I would suppose, right? To have some sort of level of equalness now being distributed amongst different program sizes and things of that nature. I think that's what the transfer portal is sort of helping with, right? Another thing is like what you just said with the coaches coming in and maybe not giving the same opportunity to a guy who the previous coach had recruited. Well, they're getting paid like professionals. Now it's, they're getting treated like professionals, right? That's the same thing that happens with NFL teams all the time and these quarterbacks. Like new regimes come in, not their guy, they're going to move on naturally, right? So, that might be a little bit more tougher for freshmen, guys coming in, right, that don't have that level of notoriety, right, coming out of high school, don't have those NIL deals that, are solidified coming out of high school, and it might be tough for that, but it's just a slippery slope when you talk about, equalness with all these NIL deals. You see Shedeur Sanders, making, I think they came out with the NIL numbers a couple weeks ago. He's making like over $4 million. Caleb Williams is like mid twos, and then the rest of the pack is just way underneath. I don't know, man. It's like I said, I never really had a thought about it. It is, like you said, there's pros and cons naturally. The con would be for probably those lower tier guys, but at the end of the day, if they are NFL talent, if they are an NFL ready quarterback, doesn't matter who their coach is, right? That's going to show no matter where they go, I think. And it's going to translate to the NFL. Like you just can't teach that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's what I have on it. But no, I agree, man. Like I said, it is. I don't know if the good necessarily outweighs the bad. It just depends on what angle and what lens you're looking at it through. So I don't know. That's my trying to be objective thought.
So we kind of went into this game a little bit. Jag Saints. Like I said, I wish Facino was here. He could break down a whole lot more on the Jags than any of us could. In terms of, I guess, as we kind of transfer over to gambling here, we all like Jaguars money line. We all think Jags are going to win tonight. Before I talk over and under, Chris, do we have your resident player prop guy? Please tell me you have something cooked up.
Yeah. I'm thinking Christian Kirk today. I like Christian Kirk today. His game log is fairly respectable in terms of where his prop numbers usually are at. I think tonight it's at 52.5. Um, Marshawn Lattimore is going to be on, Calvin Ridley's tail. So if Trevor Lawrence, his injury presumably is not as significant, he's able to suit it up. I like Christian Kirk as that wide receiver 2 option. But another guy, I think Stevie said it here. I think the Jags cornerbacks are, a little battle tested, but I think that secondary still needs to prove itself. So I could see Chris Olave popping off, but I think Christian Kirk would
I hope
probably be
so.
my guy to watch out for tonight. The distribution is also very interesting to think about when you're a Jaguars fan. It's a dynamic offense. You got Travis Etienne out of the backfield, can catch passes very easily. You got Evan Ingram. You got Ridley. You got Kirk. You have a plethora of guys that Trevor Lawrence can just go through his progressions and reads to. You got, I think, Zay Jones. I'm not sure if he's in the ball game tonight or not, but you got Zay Jones. Dude, this is just a plentiful receiving core for Trevor Lawrence. And it's like any guy, any given night can have a night for them. And it's hard to kind of pick. Calvin Ridley's been that guy, presumably, over the first couple of weeks, but Christian Kirk will get his, I think, tonight. So that's my guy.
Calvin Ridley's averaging like 14 yards of reception. That's
Yeah, it's nuts.
ridiculous. That's
Nuts.
nuts.
He's taking
Gotta
names. He's
steal with him.
pissed.
Yeah, big time.
Also, in terms of your question of over under, I don't think the over hits. I think it's under, and I agree with Jerry. It has that making like of if I had to throw like 5 cents, 10 cents on any correct score pick, it's just feeling like a 23-14 game to me. Well, either way, however you chalk it up.
You're going in the 20s. I didn't even go that high. I was about to say like 19, 15. Like the Saints always have these like odd fucking scores.
Yeah.
You know,
The
like
Saints Bucks games that always was like 7-6 or something like that.
yeah. Yeah.
Something I want to point out to look out for on player props here, real quick, is Alvin Kamara receiving yards.
Yes.
25 receiving.
Yes.
25 receiving yards right now on FanDuel, I believe, is minus 118. I think that's incredible value. I think it's higher.
He caught like 10 passes last week. I think he was my prop bet last week. I had on my game picks to get his receiving yards on the over, and he had like 10 receptions for like 40 something yards. Just blew it out of the water. So I definitely agree with that. I will co-sign that with Jerry for tonight.
So looking at it right now, I'm sorry, it's minus 182 for 25 receiving yards, minus 182 for 40 yards. It's plus 158. And like Chris is saying here, Alvin Kamara has been he's a running back by trade, but he's been catching passes here. So that might be a prop you might want to look at. If I do play some skin in this game, I'm still undecided if I am or not. But if I do, that's going to be on my ticket.
Okay. I already have Jags money line. And
You're going to be very happy with that.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Listen,
hot-
I can see a situation where the Saints pull this off. I know I was
Yeah.
crapping on their offense, and I love the Jaguars in this game, but like if Trevor Lawrence really isn't all good to go and he's limited, I mean, this is a
Who's backing him
dogfight
up?
of a game that the Saints are in position to win. So Vegas knows
Do
something.
we know who's backing him up?
Well, what do you think the spread would be if they were in Jacksonville? Like, we'd have to assume like Jags minus 5.5, right?
I would say 3.5.
You still think that low?
Yeah, I would
Yeah, I
agree with
guess-
Justin or with Jerry.
I guess so. I don't know.
Would you say
How many
3.5?
ones?
I might even go 2.5.
Really?
So I've been looking at trends, and I know I really shouldn't really be paying too much mind to them, but I've been looking at the trends this year and what's been hitting and what's been not as far as spreads go. If this stays at what it's at right now per FanDuel Sportsbook at plus 1.5, the Jaguars are going to win this game. Plus 1.5 has been winning all season long. A lot of these games this season have been pick'ems, and a lot of those times, those teams with the plus points have been winning those games.
Okay.
I'm trying to see. I'm
Give me a
very
Travis
curious.
Etienne tutty.
I like that.
What are you
Yeah.
What are you getting on that?
CJ Beathard is Trevor Lawrence.
Let me see what we get on that.
Yo,
He's got
honestly,
200
you know what's a
last two games.
sneaky good bet, Chris? While you have the player props up, look up what either team would get for a defensive touchdown because what's his face? Trevor's known to throw. Well, every now and again he'll throw a pick six, but like I feel like Derek Carr has just got like pick six in his blood like 3-4 times a season.
I don't think I get that on FanDuel. I don't see that.
Last Thursday, FanDuel had what was it? Was it Denver? No, the Chiefs to score a defensive touchdown at like plus 700.
Maybe it's under game specials. I'm searching.
I had it written down.
I'm seeing it though.
Right after my Mike Florio rant.
I love that, by the way. That's an all-timer right
It was
there.
plus 500. Oh, Mike Florio has still not gotten back to me, by the way. So I don't
Oh, shocker.
know what to do. Maybe me and Julie got to send him a Christmas card. I'm really not sure.
Yeah.
Travis Etienne, anytime TD tonight's plus 110. He's got 2 in his last 2 games. I think he'll end up inevitably catching a passing touchdown if I have to call it.
Okay. All right, boys. We have anything else? It's kind of a. I guess
It's a dud game.
Is a
It's
dud
a
game.
dud game.
We tried to
Yeah,
hype
it's
it
a
up.
dud
We
game.
tried to hype it up. We
I
tried to get
get-
our face in there and motorboat it, but
I don't want to call it a dud game. I think the game itself is going to be better than people are going to give it credit for, but there's not like unless without Casino here, there's really not a lot of hype surrounding it. There's not a lot to talk about. We talked
Yeah.
about Lawrence's injury and all that stuff. So
I wish he didn't
it
have to
is
work
what it is.
tonight. I really wish.
Yeah.
He really could have gotten us going for this. Although if Facino was in this, we probably would have spent another $200 on FanDuel. Just like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Zay Jones will score 7 touchdowns tonight. You're right. You're right.
Dude, the one thing I love about Facino's picks is like he always is choosing a team out of left field each week. Like he went with the Rams one week and they were the underdogs. I forgot who they're playing against. It's like every single week he chooses an under. He won't. I would say, did he go with the Bears last week? Was that his pick on?
Yeah,
on
Bears
Sunday?
money line. Yeah, a lot of people did though. A lot of
I
people.
know. I know. I did
So-
too. I thought they were gonna come out with that game.
Did. Yeah,
But
I
now
think
they
Justin
lost,
Fields-
right?
Justin Fields getting hurt. Like, fucked him.
Yeah. Big
You know,
time.
and now they're starting that D2 guy. But like, I don't know, dude. That you want to talk about a fucking mess? I mean, a couple weeks ago, I already gave them the business, but they are a fucking mess, and it looks even worse now because well, whatever. I think I said this when their GM came out and he was like, "We're gonna take the North and we're never giving it back." Yeah, you could take the fucking basement, bozo.
Say though, you said did you say who to have a defensive touchdown? The Jags or the Saints?
Either team because both guys throw pick sixes, but like Derek Carr, I'm just feeling a pick six tonight, and he's just
I was gonna say,
gonna have that dumb. He's gonna have that dumb look on his face after he throws a pick six, and then like he's gonna run off the field at halftime, and Pam Oliver or someone I don't know who works for Amazon, right? They're gonna grab him like, Derek, what happened there on that pick six? You overthrew the tight end by 17 yards, and he's like, well, I don't know, but I'm going to go pray on it in the locker room and ask Jesus to give me a better second half. Kiss my wife and kids.
I was gonna say I
Am I
like the
wrong?
Jags defense in terms of pressure. No, you're not wrong at
Dude,
all. I think
he's-
Derek Carr does throw a pick
He's
today.
got a face and a haircut like the bad kid from Toy Story. You know what I'm talking about? Sid? Is it Sid? Like the fucked up
Sid.
teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Derek Carr. That's
They
Derek
said that he
Carr.
looked like Sheen from Jimmy Neutron too.
Oh man,
Oh my god, it's fucked.
my man D Carr is just catching strays.
Yeah. No, that's fucked.
Listen, I got nothing else on this game. I don't know if we want to
Yeah.
force any other bets here, but like I
No,
said, I
we
like the
probably shouldn't.
Jags. I would say I like the Jags. Just sum it all up for our viewers here. I like the Jags. Wouldn't be surprised if the Saints pull it out. I think it is a close game, given the arena, given the home crowd. You know, I like Christian Kirk,
God bless.
Travis Etienne for a touchdown. Wouldn't be surprised if Olave pops off, but I probably won't bet Olave. But
Ooh,
you know, that's what I got.
ooh, my dog just hit his hit his head in the microphone.
Oh God.
Oh, he's all right. He's a trooper. Jerry, what else you got?
Yeah, Jags money line. I'm on board with Christian Kirk here. I'm just curious to see what he's got because I was gonna take Calvin Ridley, but someone also on Instagram was saying Christian Kirk is he's due. Uh, Christian Kirk for 40 is minus 250. So let's say Jags money line, Christian Kirk for 50, Alvin Kamara for 25, and then you throw in ETN for where are we? We're still in rushing. ETN for 50, let's say, plus 437.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not too bad. I don't hate that at all.
I like that.
We don't want to force too much tonight. We got a good Sun. Well, honestly, not the best
Yeah,
Sunday
no.
slate either. Is it? Is it a
That's
good
all
Sunday
right. We'll make
slate?
it good. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
we'll make it good.
What do we got here? Let's
Listen,
see. Commanders,
we-
Giants,
can we
Browns,
just-
Colts.
You guys are both here. Are you guys both here Sunday?
Well, I'm
we
here
can.
on Sunday,
No,
baby.
sorry.
You're not here?
No, I'm not. I'm going to the Giants game. I'll be at the Giants
Oh,
game.
that's right.
live,
That's right.
so-
Okay.
Oh, that's yeah,
Jerry, you come? Are you going to be on Sunday? Okay. All
absolutely.
right. Cool.
Can we?
Never miss a
Can I just say
Sunday show.
something? Can I just say
It's-
something?
It's a free country, Chris. Shoot away.
What the hell was going on at the end of each half of the Giants Bills Sunday Night Football game? What the hell? Between Tyrod Taylor calling an audible and not knowing how many timeouts it was, whether you want to chalk it up on Tyrod or Brian Dable, that should not happen at the professional level. And also the refs blatantly missing a blatant either holding or defensive
them.
pass interference.
Yeah.
Absolutely unreal. We went into Buffalo and shut Josh Allen out for an entire half, and we were in position to win a football game despite numerous missed holdings on the Bills O-line, a absolutely bogus call on Bobby Okereke for a roughing the passer when he didn't even touch any part of Josh Allen's head, which shifted the entire drive when the Bills were still scoreless. And also a ball that was caught by Jalen Hyatt downfield. Giants fans don't get to see too many balls downfield. The one that happened gets called back for a phantom illegal man downfield and Evan Neal. Absolutely
That
bizarre.
fucking guy. You
and
see
I
that guy?
can't been
Boom.
surprised.
You see him at the DMV, you boom.
That's garbage. That's garbage.
Tyrod looked all right though. I watched some of that game. Tyrod didn't look too bad.
No, he
Chris,
didn't.
is it crazy to say maybe they're better off right now with Tyrod getting the ball?
I mean, are we going to trade him or not? If not, then yeah, you put him under center. I don't know. I said this as well. I was talking about it. If this is what needs to happen to send John Mayer a message that maybe Daniel Jones really wasn't Joe Shane's guy, then I don't know what is. I mean, this is the perfect storm for them to draft either quarterback this year or the next year after that second year team option on Daniel Jones and just call it a day on Daniel Jones' tenure as a Giant.
Well, I was telling both my brother-in-laws a couple Sundays ago, like, I know you don't want to hear that you should probably draft a quarterback, but like, you don't want to be you shouldn't be picking in the top 5 again next year, right? Like, you probably will be this year. You hope that you're not doing it, and I know that you can't do anything without an offensive line. I totally get that, and that's got to be rebuilt. I get that, but like, I mean, and listen, if they don't believe in Caleb Williams and Drake May and some of those other guys coming out, I get it. Then don't force it. Like, get yourself another tackle or whatever. But this might be the year to do that, and you could still play Jones next year, and let the kid develop. But like, I don't know.
Drake May,
There's really not much more for him to develop.
line.
So you're if Drake May's not there, you go with a. Oh, you're saying that's the order in the draft, Or you're
That's
saying
that's no. That's what I'm saying. I can assume that Caleb Williams is probably going to be the first QB off the board, and the Giants aren't going to have, depending on what the Bears want to do with Justin Fields moving forward and that experiment. I don't know if they will or won't, but they got two for top 5 picks presumably right now, right? So we'll see what happens there. I think Drake May is the second quarterback off the board in the draft. If the Giants can sneak in and get him, then you got to draft him, and then you go line the next 3 rounds because you cannot afford to not address this offensive line either via draft or free agency, hopefully a mixture of both. That's how you have to approach it at this point. I don't know what else to say.
yeah.
It's tough.
Who the fuck
It's
is
tough.
Zay? I think it's my boy Isaiah. He's calling me a mush. Fair point. Fair point. I lost money last weekend. I'm a mush. I'm definitely a mush.
Well, that's it. I'll have some more Giants rants. Definitely in the future. I already know how this season's approaching, and I'm used to it. Minus last season, I've seen it for 5 straight seasons prior, and I'll report back if any of my opinions change on the team. But so far, not good, and just thinking about the draft now. So it is what it is.
All right, fellas. That's a wrap. Chris, we'll see you next Thursday. Jerry, I'll see you Sunday, pal. Thank you,
Yes,
everyone, for
sir.
tuning in. Oh, shit.
Let's go,
I did
Jags.
this. I
What?
fucking did this last week. Wait a minute. Chris, you didn't plug. I'm sorry, Chris. Plug all your work. I'm sorry. I forgot to do that.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. CPNY Sports on YouTube. See me in the comment section. Rangers. I just stood up the Blue Shirts Banner podcast. I have some Rangers content.
Oh,
First episode is
if
up.
you ever need someone on, dude, let me know.
Yeah.
More than
I'm
happy.
gonna hit you up. My boy Aaron, we do the Feeling Blue pod. Whenever I don't know what happened. Whenever I do Rangers content, Jerry, you're welcome. CPNY Sports, all that good stuff. Knicks, all that good stuff. Mets, whatever. Catch me there. I appreciate it. Thank you, Pask.
Yeah, no problem. Jerry, you want to plug anything?
I got nothing to plug because I'm too lazy to be writing blogs these days. I no longer sit behind a computer for a living, which is a blessing and a curse. But blogs will be coming, give or take, sometime in the near future. If I make it through the end of tonight's Ranger game, I'll write one. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna try to be dumping them out. Be on the lookout for Sunny Days and Flushing.com. Our other partner, Mark, has been. I haven't looked, but I'm assuming he's been writing about the Islanders. I know he's put out some stuff on Twitter about them. So
Mark
keep an eye out there. Support his work.
Mark's on Twitter. Sunny Days at the Racetrack. I don't know his exact handle. Let me pull up Mark's handle right now.
Yeah, he's another one of our Sunny Days media brethren. Not too into football, so he's not involved with this project with Pat.
Oh, there we go.
Chris and Facino.
Sunny.
But he covers hockey.
Sunny it's at Sunny at the Track. Yeah, he posts. That's where all his his blogs go. So definitely, if you're a New York Islander fan, check him out. And that's it. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
We'll see you Sunday, folks.
Catch y'all later.